Ever watch your tomatoes sit there for weeks, stubbornly green, while everyone else on the block is already making caprese salad? Here's the thing, getting fruit to ripen faster isn't about luck. It's about knowing a few simple hacks that redirect your plant's energy exactly where you want it. Hack 5. Light and heat management. Here's something most gardeners miss. Those bottom leaves aren't helping your tomatoes ripen anymore. In fact, they're probably slowing things down. Once your plants are established and fruiting, the lower third of leaves becomes dead weight. They're just sitting there, close to the soil, blocking airflow and inviting disease. When you remove them, something magical happens. Air moves through the plant better, moisture evaporates faster after rain, and suddenly your tomatoes have fewer fungal issues to fight off. A healthy plant ripens fruit faster because it's not wasting energy battling early blight or other problems. But here's where it gets interesting. Tomatoes that get direct sunlight actually ripen faster and pack more vitamin C. Light is fuel. The more your fruit sees the sun, the quicker it transitions from green to red. That's why strategic pruning isn't just about disease prevention, it's about opening up the canopy so light can reach those clusters. Early in the season, you can take this even further with a simple kitchen item, aluminum foil. Lay reflective foil around the base of your plants, and it bounces light back up under the canopy. This extra exposure stimulates ethylene production and warms things up just enough to speed ripening. It's like giving your tomatoes a little solar boost. Just pull the foil away once temps climb, or fruits start changing colour. Now, when things get blazing hot, everything flips. If daytime highs stay above 85 to 90 degrees and nights don't drop below 70, your plants shut down ethylene production completely. They stop ripening and just try to survive. At that point, forget the reflective mulch. Instead, hang a 30 to 50% shade cloth above your tomato patch. It lowers leaf and fruit temperature just enough to keep ripening going. You can even trap ethylene gas naturally to speed things up. Apples and bananas produce tons of ethylene, which triggers ripening. Place a few windfall apples at the base of your tomato plants, and the gas they release will help nearby fruit ripen faster. It's the same principle as putting a banana in a paper bag with an avocado. Managing light and heat isn't complicated, but timing matters. Give your plants what they need when they need it, and they'll reward you with fruit that actually finishes. Hack 4. Mulch and water smart. Let's talk about something that seems unrelated but makes a huge difference. Mulch. A thick layer of organic mulch around your tomato plants does more than suppress weeds. It regulates soil temperature, holds moisture steady, and prevents that erratic wet-dry cycle that stresses plants out. When soil moisture stays consistent, calcium can move up through the plant and into developing fruit. That's how you avoid blossom end rot, which isn't really about calcium deficiency. It's about water delivery. If your soil dries out completely, then you flood it. Calcium can't travel where it needs to go. Mulch fixes that by keeping moisture levels even. Wood chips work great. Just spread them around the base after you've watered deeply. They'll slowly break down, adding organic matter to your soil while keeping the root zone cool and moist. This creates the stable environment tomatoes love, which translates to faster, more consistent ripening. Now here's where it gets counterintuitive. Once your plants are loaded with fruit and you're trying to push them toward ripeness, you can actually back off on watering slightly. Not drought conditions, but intentional water stress. When tomato plants sense survival is at stake, they speed up fruit maturation to produce seed. It's an evolutionary response. Gradually reduce water over a 3-week period, giving less each time. You're not trying to wilt the plant, you're just nudging it into thinking conditions are changing, and it better hurry up. This technique, similar to dry farming, also concentrates sugars and flavor compounds in the fruit, so you get smaller tomatoes, but they're sweeter and richer tasting. It's a bonus on top of faster ripening. There's another stress technique called root pruning that works similarly. Insert a spade about 6 to 8 inches deep into the soil, roughly 1 foot away from the main stem, and circle the plant. This cuts the outermost roots, putting the plant into survival mode and forcing it to ripen what it's already produced. Do this 3 to 4 weeks before your first expected frost for best results. Always water at the base, never overhead. Wet leaves invite fungal problems, especially in humid weather. Water deeply in the morning. so any splashes dry quickly. Keep the foliage dry, keep moisture consistent with mulch, and use strategic water reduction when you need that final push toward ripe fruit. Hack 3. Feed them right. Your tomato plants have different needs at different times, and feeding them wrong can actually slow down fruiting. Early in the season, when plants are young and growing tall, they need nitrogen-rich fertilizer. Nitrogen fuels leafy growth and builds a strong foundation. But once flowers start appearing, everything changes. If you keep pumping nitrogen into plants that are trying to fruit, they'll just keep making more leaves. That's the opposite of what you want. When you see those first flower clusters forming, it's time to switch. You need a fertilizer that's higher in phosphorus and potassium. Phosphorus supports flower and fruit development. Potassium helps with ripening and overall plant health. A balanced fertilizer works too, something like a 3-3-3 ratio, but avoid anything heavy in nitrogen at this stage. You're redirecting the plant's attention from growth to production. I like to top dress around the base of each plant once flowering begins. Scratch the fertilizer into the soil surface lightly, then water it in. This puts nutrients right where roots can access them. The key is being proactive, not reactive. Don't wait until leaves start yellowing or plants look stressed. By then, you've already lost time. Get ahead of it. Feed them before they need it, so when fruit is developing and ripening, nutrition is already available. Some gardeners also add bone meal at this stage. It's high in phosphorus and contains calcium, which helps prevent blossom end rot. Mix it with your all-purpose fertilizer for a 1-2 punch. Think of it this way. Early season feeding builds the plant, mid-season feeding builds the fruit. If your plants are healthy and well fed at the right times, they stay focused on what you want, which is producing and ripening tomatoes. They're not scrambling for nutrients or diverting energy into unnecessary leaf growth. They're just doing their job, which is giving you the harvest you've been waiting for. Proper nutrition combined with the other techniques we're covering creates a system where everything works together. Healthy, well-fed plants respond better to pruning, handle stress more effectively, and ripen fruit consistently throughout the season. Drop a comment and let me know what challenges you experienced in planting tomatoes. Hack 2. Variety selection matters. Not all tomatoes are created equal when it comes to ripening speed. Some varieties are just bred to produce fruit faster, and if you're serious about getting early tomatoes, you need to choose wisely. Take the Sakura tomato, for example. It's known to ripen 2 to 3 weeks earlier than standard varieties. That's not luck or better growing conditions. It's genetics. Plant an early ripening variety, and you're already ahead before you even prune or fertilize. But speed isn't the only thing to consider. Disease resistance plays a huge role in whether your plants keep producing late into the season. Varieties like Mountain Magic and Cherry Bomb have built-in resistance to early blight, fusarium wilt, and other common problems. When plants aren't fighting off disease, they channel energy into fruit instead of survival. That means faster ripening and more consistent production. Here's where growing vertically really shines. When you train tomatoes up a single stem and space them close together, you can grow 20 different varieties in just 20 square feet. Compare that to letting them sprawl on the ground where one plant takes up 5 square feet. By growing up instead of out, you're not just saving space, you're giving yourself options. You can plant a few early ripening varieties for that first harvest, some disease-resistant ones to carry you through summer, and a couple of big ones, heirloom beefsteaks for slicing. Diversity protects you too. If one plant succumbs to a problem, you've still got 19 others producing. When you only have room for 4 sprawling plants, losing one hurts. With vertical growing, you're spreading risk across multiple varieties, and you're maximizing what that space can give you. Know your location and pick varieties that match your climate. If you're in the south with intense heat, look for heat-tolerant types. If blight is an issue in your area, prioritize resistant varieties. The right genetics combined with good technique is what gets you fruit early and keeps it coming all season long. Cherry tomatoes typically ripen in 4 to 6 weeks from flower to harvest, while larger slicing tomatoes can take up to 8 weeks. Choosing faster maturing varieties stacks the odds in your favor from day one. Hack 1. Master pruning techniques. If there's one thing that makes the biggest difference in getting tomatoes to fruit earlier and ripen faster, it's pruning. When you remove suckers, You're redirecting energy from leaf production straight into fruit development and ripening. It's like telling the plant to stop working on projects it doesn't need and focus on finishing what it's already started. Pruned tomatoes can produce fruit up to 2 weeks earlier than unpruned plants. That's significant. First, understand what you're working with. Indeterminate tomatoes keep growing and producing until frost kills them. These are the ones you prune to a single stem. Determinate tomatoes produce one big flush of fruit, then stop. Don't prune these heavily, just remove lower leaves that touch the soil and any diseased foliage. Let them bush out in cages. For indeterminate varieties, the goal is one main stem growing vertically. Suckers are those little shoots that sprout in the crotch between the stem and a leaf. If you leave them, each one grows into another full vine. The plant gets massive and bushy, which looks impressive but actually slows ripening and invites disease. Remove suckers when they're small by pinching them off with your fingers. If they're larger, use clean pruners sterilized with rubbing alcohol to avoid spreading disease between plants. As you prune, also remove the lower leaves up to the first foot or two. These are the ones most likely to pick up soil-borne pathogens when it rains. Taking them off improves airflow, reduces disease pressure, and lets the plant focus upward where fruit is forming. Now here's the advanced technique. Instead of removing every single sucker, you can let some grow strategically, then cut them off to boost yield without excessive bushiness. When a sucker emerges, let it grow out and flower. Once fruit forms, cut off the growing tip right above that fruit cluster. You've tricked the plant into producing extra fruit from that sucker without letting it turn into a whole new vine. This increases overall production while keeping plants manageable. There's one important exception. If you live somewhere with intense sun, especially in southern states, leave a few suckers in the center of the plant. Those extra shoots provide shade for developing fruit, preventing sun scald, which is basically sunburn on tomatoes. Beefsteak tomatoes are especially vulnerable because they take longer to ripen. If your plants haven't been pruned and they're already big, don't shock them by removing half the foliage at once. Start gradually with new growth. Take a little at a time over a few weeks. The goal is healthier plants that ripen fruit faster, not stressed plants struggling to recover. These hacks work best when you use them together, but don't feel like you need to do everything at once. Pick one or two, see what works in your garden, and build from there. Your tomatoes will thank you with earlier fruit and faster ripening. If you love this video, you'll love the next one more. Hey guys, Arthur here. If you found value in this video, YouTube thinks you'll like this next one